back to the Shifting Your Atmosphere podcast, where choosing you is not selfish, it's necessary. I'm your host, Kay Simone, and you already know what we do here. We talk about the good, the bad, the ugly, and the indifferent of all that it takes to choose you in the midst of motherhood and womanhood. And as always, this is a safe place. So I want you to calm your mind, calm your spirit, open your heart, and let's get ready to shift your atmosphere together. Today, let's go ahead and talk about one of my most used skill set, but also undervalued skill sets. And what skill set is that key? That is being adaptable. Like I used to undervalue being adaptable so much. I didn't realize until adulthood how much value being adaptable holds, right? I learned the skill very early on, and I used to even switch it up, and I used to call myself like a melting pot. I'm like, I can, mold to every environment. Like it's a little piece of everything in me. So I could, because of all the places I've been, because of all the places I've, visited, the different schools I've been to, the different types of sports or organizations I've been a part of, all these things. Like because I got all this under my belt, I'm just a walking melting pot. Like I'm not from any one place. I'm not, stuck to any one thing. And what I was really describing is that I'm adaptable. Like the skill set of adaptability I possess, and I have utilized it for so long. I've become very, very good at it, right? So anything you throw at me, yeah, the resilience is there. The resilience is built. Why? Because I'm adaptable. I can adapt to any environment that I'm thrown into. Now, whether I like it or not is the part that's, you know, the wild card part. But the fact the fact of the matter of whether I'm going to adapt or not and be effective at adapting, that's not in question because I'm going to do that. And now that I'm older and I'm further into my healing journey, my maturing as a woman and as a mother, I started to realize like adaptability ain't just for school. Adaptability ain't just for careers and just get a new job or trying to be a leader. Adaptability is for every single area of your life, including choosing yourself, including prioritizing yourself, including showing up for yourself, including whatever it is that you do for you to make sure your cup is still full, to make sure that your relationship with God is at its top tier, whatever that is for you. Adaptability needs to be present in that because otherwise, how are you going to maintain that and not give up on that when things start to shift around, when things start to change, when you get thrown a curveball in your nicely planned out plan? What are you going to do? You're going to give up? Are you going to fold? Are you going to cry? Are you going to fall back into your old habits? Are you going to fall into your own ways? What are you going to do when things are put in front of you and force you to switch up and change? You're going to have no choice but to adapt. My life in my early childhood, early adulthood, gave me no choice but to become adaptable. There was stuff always changed around me. I had a sick parent growing up, so that means every single day was possibly to be indifferent. We didn't know if he was going to feel good. It was going to be a good health day if it wasn't. So I had to adapt a lot early on. I went to 3 high schools, 3 middle schools. I don't even know how many elementary schools I went to. I couldn't stand moving around. I was so over moving around. I said, hey, look, y'all, if we move again, I'm getting my GED because I'm so sick and tired of moving, learning a new thing, meeting new friends, learning how this school system works, learning how these teachers go, learning what their grading system is, learning how to live amongst this culture of this new environment area that we're in now. I was getting sick and tired of being sick and tired of changing around. But then eventually over time, I learned, but what if I just every time we move, that means I can just try something new. They don't know I ain't never played this sport before. I could just sign up for it and try out to see how it go. It's like I tried a new thing every time I went to a new school. Every time a new school year came around, I was trying something new because why not? I became so good at adapting to any environment that I was thrown into. And that literally became my superpower. So out of something I could not stand, I didn't like something that I really felt um hindered me in my early life, in my early childhood, actually taught me an extremely positive life lesson that at a very early age that a lot of people are learning now that they're an adult. It really, really helped me, in every stage and area of my life, even when it went to my career, every job I was able to adapt. If I never had a job like this before, other people were having struggling with adapting, and I just slide right in. They'd be like, you know what, you catch on really, really quick, and it literally was my adaptability that was kicking in every single time I had a situation going on. It's like I may not know how to do this, but I'm gonna figure out how to do this. You know, I know it's shifting and changing, but I've been able to change all my life, so it's fine. But I'm adapting right now. Today we're recording at night because why? My child got sick this week, threw my schedule off. So you know what? We're adapting. We're adapting. So when I say I got adaptability on lock, I got adaptability on lock. Like I'm going to adapt to any environment, good, bad, ugly, or indifferent. Every area of my life, a level of adaptability is there. So today we're going to talk about what adaptability is, why it's important for your life, and then how you can utilize it in motherhood and womanhood to continue to do what? Choose you, because that's one of the biggest things why people and women and just people in general say that they can't prioritize themselves because they don't have time. Why don't they have time? Because life is constantly shifting, changes. They are being thrown wrenches every single time. They think they have a handle and a grip on how they're going to move, how they're going to flow, how we're going to, have our routine for meal prep, how we're going to have our routine for our workout plans, how we're going to have our routine for bedtime, for morning routine, for pickup, drop off, for the weekly schedule, everything. How we think it's going to go. Plans don't always go that way. So when we're choosing to choose ourselves, one of the biggest ways we can ensure that we're going to maintain choosing ourselves even when life is throwing us all of these curveballs, we're gonna learn how to adapt. So with all that being said, for the people in the back who's like, Key, what is even adaptability? So I'm gonna give y'all my preferred definition, then I'm gonna give you, the Webster definition, okay? So, in short, adaptability is a skill that allows women, especially mothers, to embrace change, stay resilient, and thrive in every season of life. That's adaptability in a nutshell, okay? When it comes to us, how it applies to us. Now, for the people who need the real definition of what adaptability is, adaptability is the ability to adjust your thoughts, behaviors, and actions in response to new, changing, or unexpected circumstances. It's about staying flexible instead of rigid, learning to shift perspectives, and finding solutions even when things don't go as planned. Now, tell me you don't need that. You need it. It don't matter if you're a mother or you're not a mother. You need it because you want to know what? They switching up plans. Something comes up that's not your regular scheduled program. You get in traffic, you get delayed. You wake up, you don't feel good. Anything can go on, and you have got to figure out, okay, look, if I'm choosing myself and I have put together my plan, I have put together everything that I feel like is going to help me, stay on the straight and narrow. And then here comes this thing that throws it all off. Okay, so I'm done choosing myself. No, you're not. No, you're not. I had to do that, y'all. I had to learn. I had to learn that because it seemed like every time I got myself on a good routine, a good schedule, it would get thrown off. But I'm gonna tell y'all how I use adaptability to help me continue to choose myself until it became a habit. And I was truly starting to realize that adaptability belongs here in this stage of my life too. Not just back when I was switching through all those high schools and middle schools. I can use my adaptability today. And actually that we may even closely connect that with being coachable. If you're coachable, if you're teachable, that typically stems from you being adaptable. Because if you are not coachable and teachable, you definitely not trying to adapt to no environment. But we're adapting because what we're choosing ourselves. And so that means if the kid is sick, we're adapting and still choosing ourselves. If work run long, we're adapting and we're still choosing ourselves. If we wake up and we don't feel good, we're still adapting and we're still choosing ourselves. So beyond just showing up every day, even when you don't feel like it, you have got to learn how to adapt to still make space and room and time for yourself, even when plans don't continue as they were scheduled, okay? One of the first areas that I had to learn how to become adaptable in when I started to learn to choose myself and I was going through my own individual journey was I had set aside that I was waking up at 4:35 every single morning. I was reading my Bible, having my quiet time with God. Some of it was in my Bible, some of it was quiet, silent worship so that I could hear Him. And then I was going into my workout. After my workout, I was getting showered and getting breakfast started, and then I wake up the kids, and then I would get them together, right? And it was gonna go on like that. Now, for a while, it worked. For a while, it worked. It was great. I'm like, oh, I feel so great. I'm getting my workout in every morning before I go to work, so I know I'm not missing it. I'm spending time with God. This quiet time is also kind of a little bit of me time when I have my ability to do this without the kids running on my back because I'm doing it before they wake up. All of this, y'all, it was working. It was smooth. It was like butter. I was happy, right? And then my little baby, my lovely little baby, he started to wake up at the crack of dawn with me. He started to wake up at 5 o'clock with me. Now, for a little while early on, I'll rock him back to sleep and I'll be like, you know what? I got to keep being determined because I had let him throw me off a couple of times and I didn't continue on with my plans. Then I started to try to rock him back to sleep during my quiet time and my meditation time when there was just like, music in the background or something like that. I tried to just put him back to sleep so I can get through the other things. He continued to grow up and that stopped working, right? So now that I'm not able to do my quiet time with God and my workout alone, I start to be back off of it, right? Then I pull back and I'm like, okay, just let him work out with you. So I set him up a little workout space. Yeah, it was a journey. I set him up a little workout space and I'm like, okay, babe, you work out with mommy. We got this, right? I read my Bible, you be quiet. Now it's time for us to go exercise. That worked for a little while. And then it became where he started to want to run the workout. And at that point, I was like, nah, bro, I'm good. I'm waking up early and I'm fighting with you, arguing with you way more than I'm getting this time in. So, you know what? It's fine. I'm not worrying about it. And I let that derail me all the way from not waking up at 5 a.m. anymore. And then I'm like, I don't have time for God because I can't do my time with God because I can't wake up at 5 in the morning anymore. My workout is not working out because it's 5 a.m. I can't get my time in the morning. My workouts are getting missed because after work it's just not working for me anymore. I used to go to Zumba and other classes when I only had one kid, and I had to adapt from that because who was gonna watch two kids? Nobody was gonna watch two kids for me to go work at 9 or 5 a.m. in the morning. So like to a trainer. So I had to adapt and I started working out at home. Baby, we was already adapted. And I was getting tired and annoyed of the adapted. But the even though I was getting tired of the adapting, the more I resisted the adapting, the less and less I was doing for myself. And then I started becoming angry with I wasn't having time with God. Became angry with the fact that my fitness wasn't where it had been previously because I had kind of dropped the ball on it. And it was all because I'm like, you can't get it done at the time you designated, the time that you want it to happen. So since it's not happening at this time, it's just not happening. And took a little while, but it finally clicked in there like, girl, it still got to get done. Okay. So instead of being so hard on yourself and saying either got to get done at this time or it got to be done at this time, what you're going to do is you're going to wake up. If it don't happen at 5 a.m. in the morning, you're going to do what you can do at 5 a.m. in the morning, but you don't got to do it at 5 p.m. in the evening. And that's when you're going to work out. Either way, you're going to get this workout done. And if the workout needs to be done by yourself, y'all, it got to the point that I was working out on my lunch break. That way my kids was at school. I wasn't being bothered. I had my full gym bag to take a shower, go back to work, everything, right? I was walking miles on my lunch break, 3 miles if I needed to. Even if I woke up and the time didn't work out for my worship time, and when I first woke up in the morning, that means the whole car ride, I'm sorry, children, but we're not listening to Kids Bop. We're listening to the worship playlist because I still got to get this time in for myself to start my day. So essentially, what would happen is I wouldn't be okay and my day would be thrown off and I would start to lose all the progress that I had gained in choosing myself and making time for myself and prioritizing myself because I couldn't get it done at the time I wanted to get done. The plan wasn't working anymore. And then because that plan's not working, all of a sudden I let it affect everything else I had going on and all my progress, and I had to bounce back. So learn from my mistakes, and you don't do that. What you do is you adapt. You become flexible. So you have a set game plan. That's great when it works. But when it don't work, we gotta adapt. And before we get too far into the episode, let's go ahead and go over to the style corner. Welcome back to another episode of the Style by K Simone's Fashion Corner. And you already know every episode we're doing what a fit check. It's fall-ish. I'm not all the way fall, but it's fall-ish. So it's still safe to go ahead and pull out some of the pop colors. Now, we're doing vintage blazer, very me. Very vintage floral design on the blazer. And we just paired it with a bodysuit, some nice wide leg jeans, and an orange pointed toe heel. Nothing crazy, but we're giving fall. We're giving fall. And on the jewelry, you know, the everyday Amazon basics. Bracelet, necklace, these earrings that are gold today. And that's really it. And just my Apple Watch band today. Y'all gonna let me know, is today's outfit giving podcast host? Is it giving style? Is it giving vintage? Is it giving fall-ish? Y'all let me know in the comments. Let's get back to the episode. How did y'all like today's fit check? Yes, it's giving fall-ish. You know, we're getting prepared for fall. And y'all know I love a good blazer and a good vintage look with the shoulder pad. Yeah. So that's very much me. But anyway, let's get back to the episode. So now that we know what adaptability is, now that you've heard how I've come across adaptability and some of the ways that I've struggled with needing to implement adaptability, the biggest questions I ask myself all the time when I adapt is, have I completed my non-negotiables for the day? If I have not completed my non-negotiable for the day, those are top priority for me, right? So let's just say I have not completed my non-negotiables, which is pouring back into myself in some kind of way and spending time with God. Those are my two non-negotiables every single day. However they get done, okay? So if those non-negotiables have not been done for the day, then the workout becomes third tier priority, right? I gotta figure out a space for the other two before I get there, right? And sometimes the workout is be pouring back into myself, so it might, bump up sometimes. But sometimes that quiet time, that silence, that journaling, that hot bath, whatever it may be, sitting in silence or cooking myself a meal that I really want to eat, whatever it may be for that day or for the week, because sometimes we can't every day. But that's another adaptability space. If you can't get something done every day, okay, because it's too jam packed this week. Okay, what day this week do I have the most space to fit that time in for myself? Where does it fit in my schedule to where I'm not losing complete progress of choosing myself, prioritizing myself? Because I have learned the hard way, the hard way, the hard way. It only takes about 1 or 2 times for you to miss something, for you to just start being like, I already missed it yesterday. It'd be okay. I already missed it 2 days. It'll be all right. Like, no, we're not letting that happen to you. You already have fought so hard to start your journey, to start your progress, to start choosing yourself, to even entertain the idea of choosing yourself in the midst of all you got going on. So what we not going to do is lose that progress or not even start if you've never started yet, because you're constantly saying, well, I don't have time, I don't have the purpose, I don't have this and that. It don't matter about none of that. What it matters is, can you adapt? If you can adapt, you can choose yourself. If you can adapt, you can prioritize yourself. If you can adapt, you can thrive in any area, in any season of your life. Because even God at some point had told me I was getting hard on myself back in that time where I was doing that 5 a.m. wake up call, and like I was really, really in. Y'all, I was leading 5 a.m. prayer call. Like I was in there at 5 a.m. real hard, right? And after a while of different ebbs and flows of life, I started getting really, really hard on myself. And I'm like, God, like, me and you used to be so much closer. We used to be so much tighter. And it was feeling like if I don't spend the time with you the way that I used to spend the time with you, that I was spending time with you, that's why I wasn't close with you in this area, this time and moment, this season of my life. And he has to correct me and be like, every season does not require the same level of time spent with me. And I'm here to tell you the same thing. Every season of your life, every area of your life does not require the same exact methods and attention and roles that may have worked in the past. So in the past, in that season at 5 a.m. when I had the time, I needed it. I wasn't making it without that time at all in that season of my life. Now I can function without the 5 a.m. super intense, deep time every single day. However, what I can't survive is going a whole day or multiple days without tapping in with God. That I can't survive. So now, adaptability right now looks like if I'm praying mentally or constantly while I'm driving at work, if I'm praying for a minute, 2 minutes, sporadically throughout my day, multiple times a day, that looks more adaptable in my life every day now in the season that I'm in compared to when I had that 5 a.m. time where I could sit and dedicate 30 minutes to an hour every single morning to that. Like I needed that much time. So he was like, in that season, that's what worked. In one season, the 5 a.m. workouts worked for me. In another season, the lunch break workouts worked for me. In another season of my life, the 5 p.m. Zumba classes worked perfectly, or the 5 a.m. personal training sessions worked for me in those different seasons. And it's another season in my life right now that working out from home works, or walking 3 miles a day, getting outside of my home, since I've spent a lot of other time in the home. Getting outside of the home is working for me right now. And when it gets too cold outside, the gym probably gonna be the answer for me. So we'll be back in the gym. But what am I doing? I'm adapting because I'm making sure that the workout's getting done, the time is being spent, the non-negotiables are being handled. But it's essentially not even that it doesn't matter how it gets handled, but it's just that we're not so rigid in it happening and being handled a certain way that it hinders us from even addressing or handling it at all, right? So if I couldn't work out at 5 a.m., does that mean I don't work out at all? No, that means I figure out how I can work out even though I miss 5 a.m. And even with that being said, I stopped even attempting. There were probably some mornings where my son wasn't even up 5 a.m. But you know who also wasn't up? Me. Because I had already given up, but I'm like, bro, I just know he's gonna get up. I just know that. And every morning it wasn't that wasn't the case. And it's like if I was already up at 5 a.m. in the morning and he wasn't up, you get it. I could have did it, but I didn't. Why? Because I'm like, well, I can't do it 5 a.m. every single day. So what I'm getting up today for, I probably can't do it at 5 a.m. tomorrow, or he gonna be up. I just know he is. Did you even check? Did you even open your eyes up to see if by the time you went to the bathroom and changed your clothes, if he was up, then it'd been fine. But what if he wasn't up? You could have had that time, right? Exactly. So we're going to stop using our curveballs being thrown for our plans as excuses of why we cannot choose ourselves, why we cannot prioritize ourselves, why we cannot maintain the journey of choosing ourselves, prioritizing ourselves, choosing to constantly walk with God and allow Him to grow us, heal us, mold us, shape us, all of that. We're not getting an excuse to say, hey, because it can't happen the way it happened in the last season of my life, or just because it can't happen the way that I want it to happen, or the way that I started and hope for it to happen. It's okay. If it changes, God's still gonna be there. If it changes, you're still gonna be pouring back into yourself. If it changes and it lessens a little bit this week, as long as the principles are there, as long as the mindset is there, as long as you're keeping up with that and not losing it, if the opportunity comes back for you to readjust, that's adapting as well. You understand you're adapting for a season, or you're adapting for a day, or you're adapting for a moment, but it's never I'm going to adapt from one thing and shift to another rigid system. Adapt from one thing and shift to another. No, that defeats the whole purpose of being adaptable. You should be kind of like the flow for the okay. I'm waking up. Like I said, I created my non-negotiables. Now that I have my non-negotiables, I just know they need to get done. And as if you don't have your non-negotiable list, I highly encourage you to create one. However, don't put none on there that say how it got to get done, when it got to get done, all that kind of stuff in your non-negotiable list, because that defeat the purpose of us trying to fix this problem in this whole episode, this conversation. So don't put nothing too rigid on there. Just put the things that you know that you need to get done and are priorities for you. Now, some people, we got different priorities. Some people may have different things on their list. Those are just mine. And my list is a little bit longer than two, but those are my top two for every day that must happen. Now, for a week or a month or every 2 weeks, something like that, it has like a little bit longer list. But for those two, they gotta happen every day to some capacity, whether that's watching this tournament. And then, sometimes the time looks different. So let's just say on the days that I have events set up, I don't need to try to make sure that I have a workout in because I know I'm finna get 20,000 steps in, lift, fix, drag these containers that are, I don't even know, 50 plus pounds. Baby, going to the gym ain't a problem today. It's not because I'm finna work out really hard. So that's an adjustment. Same thing with if I choose to watch a sermon to refill my cup and spend time with God, allow him to speak to through that. If I decide to say, hey, you know what, I just want to do today full of worship over scripture today just because that's how my spirit feels, that's still my time with God. If I say I'm doing both, if I'm, journaling at night to cap off my day because I didn't get it done in the daytime in the morning, or I'm starting my morning because that's why I got the free time, like it's flexible, you guys. And if you don't take nothing else from this episode, I really, really want you to grasp that you don't get none of the methods or any of that stuff. You need to understand that resisting adaptability will indirectly hinder your progress every single time. If you refuse to adapt, life changes, presidents changes, society changes, everything changes. We even had to change to our ID, to the new real ID. Everything is changing. And if you refuse to change with the changes that are coming beyond you, you definitely not gonna work with the changes near you or within you or even your household. Like your children are ever changing. Life is ever changing. You, as you grow and mature, you're always changing. You'll never stop changing. And then beyond that, you have to go through season of life. And every season of life is pretty much new to you. And even as a mom, we wear a lot of hats. We're wives, we're mothers, we're career oriented, we're nurturers, we're all these things, right? And we will adapt when we're doing all that, right? You will make sure, okay, let me put on my mother hat. Okay, let me put on my, professional and corporate hat. Let me go ahead and put on my wifely hat. Let me go ahead and put on my nurturing hat. Let me go ahead and put on all these different hats. You will adapt without even thinking about these things when it comes to motherhood and your priorities as a mother or a wife. Even at your job, like if they change up the policies and ask you to do something different, change up the protocol, you will go ahead and do it whether you like it or not. It's your job, it's your money, so you gonna do it, right? You gonna adapt in the area. So why can't you adapt for you? Hmm? Why is it that you can adapt in every other area? You can utilize adaptability even without thinking about it. Even if you don't even call it adaptability, you still do it. But you'll do it for everything and for everyone but yourself. Why? Exactly. You ain't got no good reason. I know you ain't got no good reason because I ain't had no good reason, right? Nobody really mentioned how in choosing yourself and growing because I was doing it a lot alone as well. But it was never brought to my attention or mentioned to me that being adaptable is a key principle and a key skill set of learning to choose yourself and find yourself again. Because if you don't adapt anytime that something shakes and moves and does not go the exact same way, you will feel as if everything is crumbling under you. I even learned that kind of in therapy when I was going through and learning my triggers and becoming self-aware. It was like, okay, well, this is the plan. She said if A happened, then B, then C, then D. This has happened if you got to use, 2A. What I'm talking about, like A, subcategory is if you have to do that, this is how you handle it. And when things would start to happen that would throw me off course, like that was something that was really hard for me to originally deal with because it's like, this was not part of what you told me to do. This is not part of what you told me would happen. And she's just like, this is a tool. The plan is a tool. The plan is ideal. But you just don't throw up your hands and say, hey, look, I'm not even going to attempt to cope. I'm not going to attempt to use any of my skills because it's outside the parameters that I've been given. Same thing with choosing yourself. You still gotta show up for yourself. You still gotta choose you. You still matter. Your voice still matters. You being the best version of yourself still matters. You still having a cup that's full And so that you don't have to worry about trying to pour from empty cup. All of that stuff still matters. No matter what your schedule throws at you, no matter how your children are changing, no matter how your personal body is changing, no matter what stage of life you're in, no matter if you're dating, if you're not dating, if you're growing into being a woman, if you're maturing, if you've lost yourself, you're healing, you're finding yourself again. It doesn't matter what stage you're in. You have got to grasp and get in your pocket adaptability. You're going to have to pivot, to shift, to change, to, you know, I ain't gonna say go with the flow because I don't know about that one. But you're gonna have to learn to maneuver and change so that you don't, get lost in the sauce again. We already trying to prioritize bringing you back out the sauce. So don't let the fact that the schedule can go exactly how you want it, exactly as scheduled, to keep you from continuing to choose yourself, to keep you from prioritizing yourself, to keep you from doing the things you have decided and made the decision that you would do for yourself and core for your walk with God. Like, we're not giving that up. We're not giving that up. And how we're not going to give that up? Because we're going to adapt. I'm not giving up my fitness journey. I'm going to adapt. I'm not giving up my time with God. I'm going to adapt. I'm not giving up my me time. I'm just going to adapt. So, what do we do when the plan change? Adapt, okay? What we not doing? Getting left behind. Okay. And adaptability don't only have to be used in this specific area of just saying motherhood or the areas that I mentioned. Adaptability can be used in relationships to function well in relationships as they change. It could be used in just boosting your confidence. Body changes, your body changes, y'all. Whether you had a child, you didn't have a child, you just gained a little weight, you lost weight because you were sad, you were depressed, whatever it may be. And there's a lot of changes, and you have to adapt to loving to learn this version of yourself as you rebuild. Learning to love your body as you're learning to fix it and maneuver it. Learning to still choose yourself in the midst of being a new mother. Why? Everybody's pulling on you everywhere. You have got to learn to adapt. So adaptability is useful in all areas of life, not just here, but the focus of today's episode is utilizing adaptability to continue to choose yourself even in the midst of whatever life may throw at you. I think adaptability only became hard for me when I started to lose like my mental capacity because I didn't have the energy to adapt. I didn't have the motivation to feel like even giving effort towards adapting. Like I didn't have any motivation behind why I was even adapting. It's like for what? You know what I mean? So when I lost those things, I started to lose even the skill set that I had learned early on. So I really had to rebuild the muscle, but it came back very quickly, like they say, like riding a bike. But I had to also not only just rework that muscle, but I had to learn and pivot and shift and change and adapt to even how I was utilizing adaptability. I had put it in a box and it's like, well, it don't just go over in this box. It can go anywhere, in your life. And once I learned that, adaptability been like this. So anything I get thrown into, anything that switches up with my life, my kids' life, or just as I continue to grow as a woman, continue to grow in all the areas of my life and what all life has to bring for me in the future, I'm going to keep adapting because I know that I can thrive in it as long as I adapt. Like I don't have to give up choosing myself no matter how much I grow, I thrive, I become successful, anything like that. But all I have to do is adapt to what it looks like in this space, in this area, in this season, to continue to show up for myself and refill my cup no matter what everything else looks like around me, okay? And we do it for everybody else, so don't forget to do it for yourself. Sometimes, even if that means cutting something off that is not necessary to get done today, just to give space for the fact of being adaptable and being adjustable. Like you have to really work on learning, like I said, back to those non-negotiables. What gotta stay and what can go? Because every day it's kind of like a choosing, picking battles. Like, yes, we're adjusting, but in adjusting and in adapting, that means most likely something has to go. Now, what has to go, that's on you. However, typically, if change is occurring, that means something is shifting or changing. So something has to go. Now, sometimes the something is going to be chosen for you. Other times we may have to choose for ourselves. But either way, something may have to go, and you have to be okay with that. And you have to be okay with adapting to that. Adapting is not always cute, though. It's not always easy. Sometimes you may have to adapt in ways you don't really want to. However, if it's ultimately for the betterment of your family, your life, your career, you're going to do that, right? So this is no different because it is you. There's only one you. You're not going to get another you. You're not going to get another chance to get time back that you didn't help you, that you didn't prioritize you, that you didn't fill up your cup for you. So would you rather disregard things that are altogether, or would you rather adapt? I personally would rather adapt, and I hope by the end of this episode, you would rather adapt than just do away with all uh your progress or lose yourself to the point that it's almost like you can't even figure out where to start to find yourself again instead of just adapting. Like just adapt, just adapt, just adapt. Adaptability has helped me in more ways than not. It has helped me thrive in a career. It has helped me thrive in college by going to multiple schools and with different types of semester and term styles. It has helped me to thrive through motherhood. It has helped me to thrive in being a single mother. It has helped me go from being a single mother of one to a single mother of two and not losing my mind. Being adaptable has helped me not lose myself again, no matter what life continues to throw at me. Like, life is ever changing. I'm always constantly evolving, and life is always doing its study thistle and choosing what it wants to throw at you each and every day. No 2 days are the same. So, adaptivity has truly, truly helped me because it has allowed me the freedom to continue to choose myself no matter what's going on around me. And if you have not utilized that yet in your life after this episode today, I hope you will be ready to do that for yourself. Because we're not going to stop showing up for ourselves. We're not going to stop choosing ourselves. We're not going to stop nurturing our relationship with God. We're not going to stop prioritizing ourselves just because life is doing things that are different. Just because we can't do it the same every single day. Just because it doesn't look the same every single day. We're not going to give up on ourselves or give up on refining our identity and rediscovering our identity just because how we start doing it in one season is not the way that we're able to maintain doing that in another season the exact same way. What we're going to do is we are going to discover our non-negotiables. Once we do that, we are going to figure out how we can still fit those in throughout whatever our new life and our new schedule is, our new things that are popping up that are forcing us to shift and adjust. We're going to figure out how that can go in there. And I think that's all that I got for y'all today. As always, you can shop the look from today's episode on the Amazon storefront links. You can always join the Chosen Shawties for our sisterhood community. If you don't know how to walk through this adaptability alone, you don't have to. You can join in with us and we can support you throughout your whole entire journey of learning to adapt and implementing adaptability in your everyday life. As well as if you have not subscribed to our channel, please do that. And if you have not followed us on any of our social medias, they will always be linked in the top of our page as well. Now, the last thing I'm going to ask you before you get out this episode is if any of this information was helpful to you or you know someone that it would be helpful to, please share it with them because the point of the episodes, the point of this entire podcast is to help women, mothers, and just women who have lost themselves, find themselves again, choose themselves in the midst of everything you got going on. And the number one thing that they can utilize in doing that is adaptability. So, if you didn't have adaptability before today, you got it now. And if you know somebody else who needs this, go ahead and share that with them. And until the next episode,